Butt lovers. This is my 4th time reading a Yeehaw romance novel. Delores Flores, what did you put in these books? So this one is disconnected from all the other ones I read because it takes place in Coldwater, Texas. The water may be cold, but everything else is hot. And it's called Sweet Summer Sunset, which, spoiler alert, has nothing to do with the book. I don't know how they came up with that title. So as I said, you don't really need the context of any of the other Yeehaw romance novel videos I've done for this bad boy, although I still highly suggest you check them out after this. But one thing I will say is I was drawn to this book after I read the back because I noticed it breaks some of Delores Flores' tropes. I've read enough of these books where I'm noticing patterns. I need to go back to therapy. But one thing I noticed about this is that these two lovebirds on the cover were actually childhood friends. They had no pre-existing romance. In all the other books I read, they hooked up as kids and then they separated, now they're coming back together. This is new territory. If you're starting to feel the fear set in, you should. We're gonna go post-it note by post-it note like I usually do with these videos, and I'm gonna try and summarize the plot, but mostly we're gonna have a good old-fashioned roast. A Texas-sized barbecue, if you will. I hear you saying I will not. Doesn't matter. As always, let's go over our horned-up heroes first. We have Nico, who's a bull rider, and Eden, who runs a sex blog. So as you can tell, Eden is infinitely more interesting. Eden is a recent divorcee. Her ex, Damien, used to be friends with Nico, but Nico's slowly figuring out he's the worst. So Eden cannot contain her saltiness while writing the sex blog, because now that she's divorced, she's just like,
I don't want to give people advice on how to do it when I'm not doing it.
Every time she attempts to answer people's questions, she almost roasts them, and that makes for a kind of funny bit.
Dear naughty cowgirl, I've been seeing the same man for 10 years. How can we spice it up when we've done it so many times?
Oh, I don't know, maybe you should stop doing it. Sex and love are a lie.
Dear naughty cowgirl, I'm afraid my husband's getting bored of me. What should I do?
Yap, yap, yap. I'm bored of you too, bitch. Cut your losses. I sure did. Once her sodium levels decreased, she tried giving advice, and this is what she wrote. Naughty up your honeymoon with a new move. While your honey's on a chair or the couch, strip and sit on his lap. Lean back until your body is resting against his lap, and your head is by his legs. She's about to give this girl a concussion. So you're sitting on the lap, but then your back's on the lap, so you're sliding down, but then your head's by the legs. So are you upside down bat style? This is Circus Delay, and I don't trust it, and she's gonna be hit with a lawsuit. What you need to know about Nico is that his foster mother recently died, and she left him a letter that was like, you need to be a better influence on your sister Piper because you can't keep it in your pants. Which just seems like it came out of nowhere, and also how would his sister know what he's doing in the sack? Like, you can keep that part of your life separate from your 16-year-old sister. Just don't make that information known. Apparently, Nico is notorious in town for sleeping with all the women. He just has 2 rules. They can't be mean and they can't be married, which I think is fair. I think that's a fair rule. I don't think he's as scummy as his family's making him out to be, and that really made me angry at first when I started reading this, because I was like, Delores, where's all this slut shaming coming from? This isn't you. As long as you're not cheating, and he's very upfront with how he is and his promiscuous lifestyle.
Promiscuous Nico, he does whatever he wants.
Every member of his family, and we're supposed to like his family, is like,
Nico, you better chill that shit out.
Later on, we kind of see why. It's kind of like a cycle of trauma, but shh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Shut up. Ooh, yeah, I forgot how savage her last letter to him was, because Nico also cites page 3, paragraph 1. She really did write like she was running out of time, because she was. Dead joke. And this paragraph, in summary, says, stop doing the nasty so your sister can respect you. Like, maybe he's just not looking for romance. Maybe he just wants those specific needs satisfied, and you guys can't force him to settle down when he doesn't want to. So after Nico swears off sex because his family told him to, which, first of all, boundaries, he goes to check on Eden because he hears she's been crying, and Eden is his best friend. Eden's crying because her ex-husband, Damien, is already engaged only 6 months later after their divorce. Damien confronts Eden because apparently the whole town was talking about how she was crying, and Damien's like, I'm tired of looking like the villain. Get your shit together. Just fucking move on. But then he keeps inserting himself in her business as well. Eden's like, I would move on if you stopped randomly showing up to my house. So Nico pulls Damien aside and is like, stop checking on Eden. Damien kind of briefly mentions that Eden has a sex problem, and then Damien said, it's not my fault, no one wants her. And this pisses off Nico, but as opposed to just popping him in the face, he decides, I'm gonna kiss Eden. He needs a reason to stay away, I'll be that reason, bitch. So Nico tells Eden what he wants to do, and Eden's like,
alright, I'm game, yeah, let's just piss off Damien.
So they kiss, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this complicated the hell out of things. Looks like we got a Texas-sized problem. The Texas-sized problem is my dick. It's just so funny how quickly their relationship 180s after just that much contact. It kind of reminds me of a tenor in a school musical that all the girls are going after, and then there's the leading lady, and then they finally do the stage kiss, and all of a sudden they're dating because they just don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, oh, we kissed, that must mean we like each other. Will you be the Troy to my Gabriella in real life? You better get your head in my game. Oh my god. I know what you're thinking. That was a terrible comparison, Athena. Rude. And secondly, what was that sex problem that Damien was talking about? Eden's ex-husband's problem with Eden is that she enjoyed sex too much. Don't you hate it when men... You want to hear the most irrelevant side plot that goes nowhere? So there's this lady, they gave her a name, but she's so irrelevant to the plot, I'm just gonna say townsperson. She's protesting for female cows to be included in bull riding also, and Nico tries explaining to her, bull riding is popular because bulls are aggressive and they buck, and cows don't do that. I think it was supposed to be a joke, and they were trying to show like the quirky characters of a small town, but it struck me kind of weird. Delores, is this a metaphor for like feminists for you? Because I guarantee you feminists are not fighting for the rights of cows to also be in bull riding. Shit like this brings the movement down. Everyone's a feminist until it's a female cow. Terrible confession though, I hate physical labor. So when I worked at Costco, they stuck most of the women in the clothing section and they had men do a lot of the heavy lifting. And is that sexism? Yeah, I didn't say anything about it because I didn't want to be lifting up those heavy boxes. Let me read you a bit of this page. You've been avoiding me, Eden said. I have, he admitted, and he wanted to wince. What the hell does wanted to wince mean? Isn't wince like a pained expression? Why would you want to wince?
Whatever you do, Nico, don't wince.
No, but I really want to.
Nico, do not wince. No matter how much you want to wince. Nico, don't wince!
Then on the next page, the realization that Eden was a real, live, breathing woman. An attractive one. With breasts, legs, and everything. Oh man. Nico, your friend is a girl. No. She has legs. No. Nico, do you want to smoochy smooch? Your friend. No. Nico has also revealed that he knew that Eden was a girl even when he was younger, but because of his rule, he didn't want to go after Eden because she was dating Damien at the time. So the way he would stop his brain from going to inappropriate places is that he put blinders on her in the form of like clown makeup, a big red nose, clown shoes. But now that they've kissed, they're sure as hell not working anymore. Maybe the real clown was in here all along. So usually books like this are written in third person, but it flips perspective between the girl, the guy, the girl, the guy. All of a sudden, it switched to Nico's foster sister's perspective. She's 16 years old. And dude, I hate it. There isn't much to joke on. It's very depressing. She's going through some very real shit. And not only that, she is a 16-year-old and she's expressing her wants and desires for her on and off boyfriend Jax. And listen, dude, I don't need to hear about it. Can we get back to the adult main characters? I was taken off guard, was not expecting that. I guess I have to briefly explain what's going on with Piper. She's living with her foster mother's sister Rael. Very strict, very prudish, and thinks that Nico is a bad influence on her, but really, she's just a teenager doing what teenagers do, and she thought she got P-word until she got her P-word. She's just peeing all over the place, I guess. I don't know, the topic is very heavy and it doesn't feel fun to talk about, so we're just gonna move on. I wish I never complained in the last book about the siblings being too open.
I know what'll make everyone feel better. Get over here and tongue kiss me.
And he's just doing this in front of his grandma. Oh my gosh, it's so much better than the alternative. Let me just read this. He didn't like the idea of some guy doing things with Piper that Nico himself did with women. Then don't think about it. Ooh, teach, pick me. Don't fucking think about it. Here's another thing that really threw me off guard. Delores is known for her curveballs, and this sure was one. It wasn't revealed until page 166, but Nico knew that Damien, the ex-husband, was cheating on Eden and just never told her. Cheating with multiple women. I'm not rooting for him anymore. That's so disgusting. So this part really confused me. Oh yes, she groaned out. That's a good place. A really good place. 4 for 4 mini survey, we are prepared to reward you with 4 free books. And wait a second, this isn't Sweet Summer Sunset. It's just that survey scam again. Let me pop off about this because we have a history. So the very first Yeehaw romance novel I read, I saw a survey just like this and I thought, this is adorable. I can get 4 free books. Play the clip of my dumb ass. If I fill out this survey, I can win, I think they said like 3 more books. That is the strangest shit I've ever seen in my life. Who on earth would do that? They signed me up for a subscription and charged me. Granted, I never paid it, because fuck that, I didn't agree to it. I'm not giving you my credit card information. But the audacity. And I bought another book from them anyway because Delores Flores has a chokehold on my life? Go to hell, 4for4 mini survey. Back to the story. And son of a bitch, she blew in his ear. Son of a bitch. I read it like a wheeze. Son of a bitch. Timmy, your word for the spelling bee is son of a bitch. Can you use it in a sentence, please? She blew in his ear, son of a bitch. Language of origin? It's a love language, Timmy. S-O-N-O. Page 207, we're more than halfway through the book, and I'm finally seeing Nico's family in a not terrible light. They kind of describe his womanizing ways as insensitive to the women that are potentially catching feelings for them. So when his family hears that he's seeing Eden, they're like, Eden is a nice girl. Like, try and be straightforward with her. So they're finally not like,
keep it in your pants, Nico.
they're like, Nico, just think before you jump into things. So they're getting more likable, but in the first few pages, holy shit, they were unbearable. Page 216, I'm about to make a big prediction. So Nico's foster mom, deceased foster mom, sister Rael, remember the one that's taking care of Piper right now? She's very prudish and she keeps this box that she keeps a secret, and every time she looks inside it, she looks really sad and it's a secret, and she has not showed anybody what's inside the box. What's in the fucking box? Do it like somebody from Coldwater, Texas. What's in the fucking box? That was terrible. So I'm thinking maybe she's a stickler for these rules because she had premarital sex, got pregnant, gave up the baby, and that baby is Piper. I wrote on this post-it note, if I'm right, I'll chuck this book off my balcony, but if I'm wrong, why am I sharing this? Okay, so warning, this is a little explicit, but the image that came into my head was just so ridiculous, I have to share. Nico and Eden are doing it a lot, and this is one line from that, don't worry, I'll try and censor it a bit. Nico flipped open the front clasp of her bra, and her bazinga spilled out into his waiting hands. Open his waiting hands, like Clone High style. You almost dropped these. I'm disgusted. I'm the perfect demographic for this. It's all middle-aged divorcees and my goofy ass. This next line is kind of in the son of a bitch category. Like the rest of him, it qualified in the hot as all get out category. It's almost too original. Like, what the fuck does that mean? You're hot as all get out! Chapter 16, page 258. A chapter from Rael's perspective. What's going on? Page 264, I was right. Rael is Piper's mom. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do. Also important additional information, Rael slept with a married man. She didn't know he was married until after the deed was done, but she told him that she was knocked up, and he was like, I don't want anything to do with you. Get out of my life. And she still really wanted to keep the baby, but her parents forced her to put Piper up for adoption. It's almost as if we shouldn't make choices for women. It's almost as if we should let women make choices for themselves. I don't know, call me a radical. To add insult to injury, after that reveal, there was the worst transition ever. It literally went, Rael is Piper's mom. But wait a second, this just in, Eden is getting her walls beat. Let's hear from Nico out on the scene. I am currently beating Eden's walls. Why did we cut to a sex scene after all that trauma? I'm literally sending you my therapy bills. Page 306, Nico finally winced, like he's always been wanting to. Our wincing king. But here's another thing that's just the worst thing in the world. He was probably going to lose his guy card for this. Delores says this every time a man shows empathy and puts off having sex to check on their partner. I did an amazing little bit last time about it. I see that you're upset. We do not have to have sex right now. Sorry to butt in on this touching display, but I'm the president of the man club. First name Alf, last name, I'm gonna need to see your membership, please. But I just can't believe she used that exact phrasing again. This just in, having empathy means you are not a guy. Here's Nico on the scene. I'm currently beating Eden's walls. For whatever reason, they were saving all of Nico's personality for the end. Eden was afraid because a scene prior to this, she drunkenly admitted she's in love with Nico. Now they haven't talked about it yet, so she's shaking in her boots, and Nico's like, we need to talk about this. What's the latest advice on your sex blog? I can help you out with it. And Eden's like, shouldn't we talk about my confession? And Nico's like,
can you just let me do my bit?
somebody wrote to you that they need help with the sex tape. Let me go vlog squad with this bitch. Hey, you stinky sluts. If you're looking to make a sex tape, make sure you have consent first. And Eden's like, what's going on? What is going on? And then eventually he says he loves her back, but he was just like goofing and joking and being just a silly goose. And I was like, where was this Nico for the entire fucking book? That was hilarious. I hope you find this as ridiculously fun as I do. Leave a comment on what you want to see next. I heard that gay Yeehaw romance novels are even more ridiculous, so let me know if you'd want to see that. I might need a little break from Delores Flores. Our relationship is getting a bit too complicated, and this book personally had way too many ups and downs for me. I'm a wreck. Have a great day out there, butt lovers. Stay safe. Bye!